Good evening, Californios. This is PodCast27 for the weekend of November 27th, 2021. And we are Red Star Report. Tonight, on Voices for the California Nation, I'd like to look at one of the more disturbing trends within the California independence movement. And maybe it's disturbing because I'm hearing this from some of my friends within the movement. But I keep seeing Facebook and Twitter posts calling for the creation of a California independence movement militia. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. First, I need to comment that back in 2017, I began talking about this badly divided America going down this dark path, and a lot of people in this movement dismissed me on this. I was publicly admonished by some leaders of this movement just for, I say coining it, but using the phrase Cold Civil War. And I even took some flack for naming a series of memes I created from old wartime propaganda posters Civil War 2.0. They kept saying they liked the art, but could I just change the name? Like that changed anything. Anyway, I understood the sentiment, but I have to ask, how do you like me now? Because before I even begin, I'm going to caution and remind everyone that even discussing this, the creation of a Cal Exit paramilitary force on an unsecure internet platform like Facebook is a red flag security issue, and really a MAGA-worthy mistake before we even move on to discussion here. We need to take that kind of talk out of public discussion, because that's a really bad idea. And it's a bad idea for really good reasons. Many of them I can't go into, and I won't even discuss here, but you'll get there, I'm sure. Let's start with experience. The situation right now is that half the U.S. government is investigating right-wing hate groups and militias, and the other half is doing everything possible to stall or prevent that. With the U.S. midterm elections now on the horizon, we Californians know we can already count on an all too predictable nothing getting done there. Unfortunately, we also know police forces across the U.S. and much of the military see these alt-right militia types as patriots. And so they're sympathetic to these armed fascist MAGA groups. That's a problem we have actually seen at multiple protests, rallies, and demonstrations. Even when the right-wing groups are present at demonstrations or marches as illegal counter-protesters, the stance of the police is always the same. Even when the MAGA crowd with their red hats and co-opted American flags are visibly armed and aggressively trying to start a fight, the police will stand shoulder to shoulder with their backs to the armed fascists. If action speaks louder than words, this posture of facing off against a peaceful, unarmed left can only show that the police align themselves in defense of an armed and violent political right. It's who do you love? Because that alignment, that attitude, even lasted after the January 6th Capitol riots, where Republicans have broadly dismissed the deaths of 6 Washington, D.C. cops as the work of a few bad eggs among otherwise fine people. After all, was it a bunch of spooky undercover Antifa provocateurs? They're still telling that lie, aren't they? No. Let's face it. The problem is that the police, even here in progressive California, have always seen the political left as un-American, as troublemakers, as the enemy. And if we add a formally regimented, uniformed, and armed California militia group, openly calling for California secession, confirming their fears and suspicions, that situation can only get worse. Any openly organized, identifiable, armed California left, and I make that distinction purposely, will automatically become the common enemy of the cops, the militias, and the U.S. military. You might as well swap the California Independence Red Star out for a bullseye on their hats. So as a father who realizes that the war started by the old man is fought by his children, I'm going to respectfully say to my friends in the movement who are discussing this in open forums like Facebook to watch their statements more seriously. If you have been listening to the Red Star Report, you've heard us say the struggle for California independence must have no battles. Consider the connotations. You've heard us say that even as the deteriorating political situation in the United States brings new possibilities for our independence in California, you have to realize there's a possibility that U.S. fascists and other elements may threaten our safety. So personally, quietly, and with those you trust, prepare accordingly. That's prudent. But as smart, progressive thinking people of the California independence movement, think it through. These fascists, like the dog that chases a car and finally catches it, took the Capitol and then couldn't figure out what to do with it. These militia dudes uniform up in woodland and desert camouflage to march in the urban centers, town squares, and city streets of major cities. They organize complex military training events, then shoot up ivermectin, call Trump a messiah, and hoard huge quantities of MREs, mac and cheese, and toilet paper. They watch 2,000 YouTube channels on emergency wilderness survival, where hillbillies argue Glock versus 1911, and which brand of AR-15 will be slightly better when the, quote, shit hits the fan, end quote. Trust me on this, Californians. They're emotionally vested and prepping for an old school, red, white, and blue American patriots versus evil Californian armed face-off. They have it all zombie apocalypsed out in their dystopian daydreams. And they're stupid confident that we poor lefty sheep Californians are all scared and weak. So, gotta ask, should we form militias? Go down those rabbit holes? Aren't we smarter than that? The California independence movement, by its very nature, is a California resistance movement. So why would we openly ignore the teachings of everyone from Sun Tzu to Che Guevara by looking to confront or engage such a stupid and violent adversary in a way they would expect and in a manner where they are prepared? No, we have alternatives. Speak for peaceful California independence while you keep yourself sane and your loved ones close and safe. Know what might come. Be ready in your way. Stay cool. Listen to what we are not saying and give away nothing. Remember Antifa's example reaffirmed that the faceless, unknown left is what fascists fear most, and that fear drives them to make mistakes. Remember, this fight must have no battles. We will win if we don't let the fascist narrative dictate our actions. This is Voices for the California Nation. Okay, on to happier news. Activism in action with Shankar Singham. Over to you, Shankar.
Thank you, Hal. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Activism in Action. My name is Shankar Singham, and we are here to talk about the only subject that matters, the only subject that is at the heat of debate all across the United States, and that is California. Right. So let's get right into it. So activism in action. Let's start local, and then I'm going to work my way back up to the national level as far as the United States is concerned. Locally, so Candace Reed update, the teacher in Riverside that got dressed up as a Native American, danced around her class, and made all kinds of funny noises. Update on her. So home protest. People protested her, including myself, went to her home to protest her. Not there anymore, folks. She apparently every time there's protesters that show up at her house, nobody is home. Okay, lights are out. One car in the driveway constantly, a black pickup, but other than that, no one's been able to catch anybody living there or actually at the home of Candace Reed. Now, at the school, is she fired? We don't know yet. Okay, so there are vigilant groups out there making sure that she is not returning back to that John Smith High School. So Thursday before Thanksgiving, at the school board meeting, you had members of two nations come out: the Paiute Nation from up north California and the Morongo tribe. The elders came out, the chief elders came out and made it known to the school board how offensive Miss Reed has been, and for her to be getting away with it for the past 10 years is absolutely unacceptable. And so I don't know if they're going to let her back on. I mean, they got the union to contend with, but one thing's for sure: there's no way in hell the people in Riverside are going to let her come back to that school and instruct. She's going to have to quit. So I almost want to say mission accomplished on this one, but we want to make absolute confirmation that she doesn't live there at the house anymore, and she doesn't teach at John W. Smith High School. Okay, and if you look at what's going on here, you have Native groups speaking up now about recognizing their sovereignty, their rights, what happened to them, because it's really important. I think they're really the forgotten bunch of folks. You have San Manuel Gaming Casinos. I was going to call it theater because I'm used to playing the venue there. Changed their name from San Manuel to Yamava Casinos. So why is that? So my good friend Andy Salas, who's the tribal chief of the Kizh Nation, had told me that they are trying to identify who they are exactly. They're not sure who they are. The records have been wiped out. Language, name, everything has been wiped out. They took the name Yamava, which means springtime, I believe, or spring or springtime, and they took it from the Serrano language. So Serrano is not even a Native American word, not a Native American language. Serrano is clearly a Spanish name given to that tribe of people. So this is what's happened to them. They've absolutely lost all their identity, culture, ethnicity, wiped out by the Papal monarchy circa 16th, 17th century. And you know what? I'm glad the San Manuel or the Yamava tribe has gotten, or I'm not sure what they want to call themselves, the former San Manuel tribe has got themselves paid out. I'm glad they're living at least comfortably, hopefully, and I'm happy for all the Native tribes that have gotten paid out by the U.S. federal government for systematic genocide and rape and pillaging of the resources in the land. I think you need to make. I think that's priceless what you've taken away from them. You can't put a price tag on it. So as long as they're taken care of, I'm glad to see the U.S. finally turning around on this. So I mean, you have things like the Washington football team instead of the Washington Redskins, the Cleveland. They're not called the Cleveland Indians anymore. I'm not sure what they're called anymore, but the Cleveland baseball team. So everybody's starting to notice that these are derogatory terms. Candace Reed, as another one. I think she finally got the clue after 10 years of doing this, and finally it's come to the surface. Candace Reed, you can't be doing that in your class. Absolutely, just an apology would move mountains, Candace. If you have the balls to at least just come out and just apologize. I mean, I don't understand why you can't apologize. She won't, so there goes her career or her livelihood or her home. One of those three. Consequently, aside from the federal government and people like Candace Reed who perpetuate the stereotype, who are stealing from and replacing the culture and the heritage of Native Americans, you have fake Native Americans, people who pretend to be Native Americans, who for one reason or another want the glory, the money, or the power, and get away with it. Case in point, we've done episodes on this before with the Duramis. Robert Durami, who's a land surveyor who construction companies have to get his permission before they actually dig up the land because he's Native American. He's Tongva, right? Again, Tongva, no such thing, right? Well, LA County just gave homage to his wife, Miss Durami. I forgot her name. I'll put the graphic up on here. They just gave her some sort of award. I don't know for what, right? But this award just only, one, perpetuates, and two, re-strengthens her claims of being Native, even though there is no proof of that at all. She has no proof. If her birth certificate, her birth records are all under record, if anybody can see it, she has no Native in her, Miss Durami. But LA County decided to give her some award. It takes away from the award too, right? So that's Candace Reed. Next subject I want to talk about is the Sheriff Villanueva, man. This guy is a thug piece of shit. I mean, oh my God. Let's start from the top of the big pile of bullshit this asshole has been serving up the people of LA County here. Okay, let's just start with Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's wife. I mean, the good widow Bryant, who asked the sheriff not to take any pictures of the wreckage of the helicopter. And what do these sheriffs do? The minute you ask them for one thing, they're going to do the exact opposite just to show their power. What do? They take pictures of the wreckage and show it to all their friends, put it on social media, do whatever the fuck they want. So Miss Bryant decides to sue the sheriff's department. Well, the thug, the crook, the criminal lord, Sheriff Villanueva, countered the lawsuit by saying Vanessa Bryant needs a mental evaluation, a psychological evaluation. She's mentally unfit. Can you believe the nerve of this asshole on a newly widowed woman who just is still grieving for her husband? This fucking asshole piece of shit asked her go and have a mental stability check, and he wants the review all the way back from 2012. The judge said, "Fuck that. It'll be from 2018 on, right? So starting right before her husband's death on." And she submitted, no problem, right? She has a therapist. She submitted it. Everything's okay with her, and the lawsuit continues. But this is how Villanueva just sideswipes. He's got his connections with, I don't know, some attorney of the DA, and had Vanessa Bryant wanted to have her committed. For what? Because his deputies took pictures of her husband's fucking dead body. Oh my God, what a piece of shit. What a piece of shit you are, Villanueva. Second thing, dude, Villanueva does. So, this COVID mandates are down for getting the shot. So all LA County health workers must have the shot by a December date, right? Half the sheriffs will not get the shot. I don't know why these fucking cops don't want to get the shot. Good. I'm fucking glad. I heard right now it's the number one killer for cops is COVID-19. So these sheriffs don't want to get a shot. Unfortunately, though, they do interact with you and me, and so they might have a chance of passing the virus on to all of us. But these motherfuckers don't give a shit. I don't know why. Is it some sort of tough guy shit that they don't want to have the virus or don't want the vaccine? I mean, what a bunch of bullshit. So in defense, I don't think even Villanueva has gotten the vaccine. So what does he do to protect his sheriffs, the thugs, the other gang members in the department? What does he do? He says the FBI paid him a visit and told him that the company that's doing the COVID testing is from China and that they're submitting all the personal information of everybody they test back to China. And so Villanueva, out of concern, said that, let me back up. Even before the FBI got involved, they raised this question, hey, you need to get your deputies vaccinated. And he said, well, I can't do that if they're going to have to stay at home. You know what he said? Well, you know what? I think there's just going to be more crime if I have to keep my deputies at home. There's just going to be more crime, and I don't think, the taxpayer wants to see that. What a piece of shit. Is that not an unveiled threat? Is that a veiled fucking threat or what? He's saying, lay off me or else you're going to see more crime? Like what? What are you going to do? Are you going to fucking do the crime? Are you going to let go of some thugs? You're going to pay some thugs to fucking do something? What the fuck are you saying here? This is extortion, you motherfucker. So there'll be more crime. What about getting the shots? What about getting the vaccine? This has nothing to do with the crime rate, nothing to do with any of the of what might happen on the street. This is, are you going to get your deputies to take the vaccine? Oh, well, if they can't come to work, there's going to be more crime. Okay, fuck you then, Sheriff. Next, LA County decides to take the Metro Transit Department, pull all the sheriffs out of patrolling Metro, and they're going to put unarmed officers in there because there's hardly any violent crime that happens in the Metro station. What does fucking Villanueva, the thug piece of shit, do? What does he do? Well, he gets upset, right? Because now he just lost his contract with the Metro. Well, he just says that, well, now there's going to be more crime in the Metro. Now there's going to be more crime at the stations. Another veiled motherfucking threat. I don't think it's a veiled threat. It's just straight up extortion. I mean, he's straight up saying, hey, if you don't get us, you don't hire us, you don't keep our contract, a little damage is going to happen in your area. A little crime is going to happen in your area. Don't you want us to stop that crime? You fucking piece of shit. You're such a fucking piece of shit, Villanueva. So, okay, he threatens us twice with more crime, all right? Meanwhile, the LAPD, 6 officers have been threatened with losing their jobs if they don't get vaccinated. Good! Fucking fire them! Fire those fucking cops, man. What the fuck do they think they are? They're above the law. They're above the rest of us that have to get our shots. They're supposed to be leading by example, these motherfuckers. Let's do a little math. Let's do a little math real quick here, okay? Let's do a little math. So, the sheriff, he's a killer. In fact, I'm wearing a pin right now. One of his victims right here, right? I don't know if you can see that or not. I even forget who this is because I can't keep track. I can't keep track of all the motherfuckers this guy's shot. I can't keep track of all. It's just too many to name. But look, I'll tell you one thing: the families that get paid out about $2 million, $4 million, something in that range. Now you can't put a price tag on anybody's life, of course, and that money is not supposed to take the place of anybody that's been shot. It doesn't, because I've heard them at BLM rallies and whatnot. People that have had victims shot by police years ago come and speak. They still give back to the community. And they say, no amount of money. They can't sleep at night still. They still miss their loved ones that the sheriff fucking killed. So $2 to $4 million per. Now, since the year 2000, sheriffs have killed 946 people indiscriminately. 1,000 people, right? 1,000 people in 20 years, right? Now, let's just say that they've paid out about $2 million. I'll take the low number, $2 million to each of those family members, okay, of 946, 1,000, right? So they probably paid out roughly about $1.8 billion, $2 billion, somewhere around there. So in the 20 years that the sheriff has been in service for LA County, he's already cost us $2 billion in payouts. This is not including their salaries, their pensions, all the other bullshit they fucking charge us for. It's already $2 billion, folks. That's more money than that's $2 billion. I'm not gonna. I can't forget how much money each state has, but I know there's some states that don't even do the $2 billion. I don't think. My correction. I think Vermont does 30 billion, and that's the lowest. But $2 billion, not including all their pensions, their wages, all their fucking bullshit lawsuits, all their crap that they fucking crime that they do on their own. I mean, you're talking. I'm going to tack on another on the low end over 20 years. I'm going to tack on another 500 million, $500 million $2.5 billion. That's on the low end, okay? I'm thinking, okay? Over 20 years. $2.5 billion what are we getting for our money here, folks? What do we spend $2.5 billion over 20 years for? For one of us being killed. Look, let's do the math. At 1,000 people, 20 years, that's going to be 50 people a year. That's going to be one person a week. So what do we spend? $2.5 billion we spent on the sheriff. And what do we get? One of us are going to be shot every week. Every week, one of us, we don't know who, are going to be shot by the sheriff. That's what we get for $2.5 billion. Meanwhile, I don't see him stopping crime. I don't see the crime rate going to zero. If I paid you money for a job, you better do that fucking job. What are we wasting our money for, folks? If I hire somebody to stop crime, he better stop motherfucking crime. This guy's a fucking thug himself. That's the fucking sheriff we have here in LA. He's a piece of shit. And a killer and a crook. An extortionist. He's making bad waves with everybody in the county. And this is Los Angeles. We have a lot of celebrities here. Even they fucking hate him. He just raided Marilyn Manson's house. Raided his house. God damn, man, these motherfuckers, man. I can't stand the fucking sheriff. I got to see him every day. And you know what? You asked him a question just last night, man. 2 sheriffs, fire department, ambulance pulled up down the street from my house. And I know the guy that lives in that house. He's a good old man. And I went down there to see if he was okay. And I couldn't even ask the sheriff. I'm like, excuse me, officer. They shine the light on me real quick to see who the fuck I am. And as soon as I see the light, I want to ask him something. Oh, no. They fucking ignore it. Is this man okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? No answers. Who the fuck are you, dude? Who are you serving, bro? Who are you serving? You're serving me, you asshole. I paid your fucking taxes. My friend's fucking in there, man. There's something wrong with him. Yeah, didn't know shit. Still don't know shit. I don't know if he's okay or what. Anyways, that's local, folks. We got issues here. The sheriffs, and they're all Trumpers. They're all conservative assholes. They all back the right wing. They all back. I'm sure some of them were at the insurrection, in fact. But let's get to that right now, at how much California is just hated on, right? So look, you got Crying Kyle. What did I tell you about Crying Kyle? Was I not right about Crying Kyle? I told you he would get off. And when the judge dismissed the firearm charge, the rest of it was gone. You knew that right away. But let's look at Crying Kyle here. Crying Kyle, little shit, right? Little House. Crying Kyle, Little House, right? Rittenhouse. Sorry, I forgot his name. So many nicknames for the guy. So he is an absolute hero to the right-wing conservative right now. Why? He was a hero the whole trial, too. Why? Simple, folks. You have a guy who shot 2 BLM protesters, right? And they might as well have been black, but they were white, whatever. Shot 2 BLM protesters. And why were the BLM protesters there? That protest was there because a white cop shot another black man indiscriminately, paralyzed him. So at a protest against a cop shooting a black man, this kid, the Crying Kyle, shoots 2 of the protesters, which just made the right wing salivate at their fucking mouths, dude. They just love this shit, right? They love it. Kyle is the fucking hero, right? In fact, you got Marjorie Taylor fucking Greene wanting to give this fucking kid a Medal of Honor. And don't be surprised if they do, folks. That's a slap in the face to every other Medal of Honor winner, but oh well. I honestly don't believe in war, so go ahead, give him a fucking Medal of Honor, you know? He's a hero, folks. He's a fucking hero. Because what they're seeing, what Marjorie Taylor Greene is seeing, what the judge is seeing, what the jury is seeing, is a white soldier fighting for killing 2 oppositions and maintaining white supremacy. A white soldier fighting for white supremacy, and he just took out 2 people on the other side. And a perceived black people. Others. That's how they're looking at it. That's why he's a hero, period. I mean, what did he do to be a hero? He was guarding a used car lot that the owner didn't want him there or give him permission to be there. Just a piece of shit. And then on this interview with Tucky Carlson, he says he supports BLM. My ass. You're so full of shit. Support BLM, my fucking ass, man. The guy's full of shit. He got in an argument because he had a gun, for crying out loud. You brought a gun, that's why you got in a fight, you ass. There's no reason to bring that gun. So, you've got Rightwing thinking that this guy is a fucking hero. Now, because he just shot 2 BLM protesters. BLM protesters. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter started right here. SoCal, Los Angeles. All right? Miss Colors, Miss Abdullah, right here. LA. BLM is a California ideal. It is a California fucking, born from California and gone worldwide. It is close to $1 billion organization at this point. $1 billion organization, folks. I'm not shitting you. And I've been in it since before that. I've been in it since they were taking collections for funerals. No one's holding a collection cup now. God fucking damn it. But the bodies are still dropping. The bodies are still dropping. They just shot 2 BLM protesters. 2 people that stood for the California ideal. They love it, folks. They're taking out two motherfuckers that were repping California ideals. Because that's how much they fucking hate this state. Believe it. There's nobody here that would accept what happened there in Kenosha at all. Hell fucking no. In fact, if those motherfuckers come here, and they have come here, I've seen them here, unarmed, but they're here. These white supremacist assholes. And they sit there and they're on the roof or they're on parking lot roofs checking out our marches, checking out the rallies. Like what? Like we don't see you, white boy? We don't see your ass, you fucking goddamn KKK bitch? Fuck, man. They come. Every BLM, they don't do shit, though. They don't do shit. Because they know what's up. They're in the fucking hood every time, too. They're watching their back. They're always in... You fucking... I don't know who the fuck you are. Oath Keepers or Proud Boys or whoever the fuck they are, but they're watching, folks. So, folks, let's look at that hero. Kyle. Crying Kyle. And you know who else is a hero? This is who they put up as heroes, folks. The January 6th insurrectionists. All of them, heroes. All of them heroes, right? Who's leading right now the January 6th is Kevin McCarthy out of California. Folks, we've got to launch a campaign against Kevin McCarthy and let him know what's up. Because he's from this state and he's leading that charge. He's got to be taught what's up with that. Or kick him out of the state or tell him to fucking go or fucking, I don't know what the fuck. Because he will bring that shit right here to Cali. He will bring all that insurrectionist bullshit, all that right-wing bullshit, all that Trumpism, all that crap back home here when Trump wins. He will. We need to nip it in the bud. We need to get McCarthy, get him to resign or get him out of office ASAP and fill that seat up with somebody else. I don't care who it is. Okay, that's a seat in the U.S. government. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is, as long as it's not somebody that's leading that fucking charge. Because if that shit comes here, folks, I have a feeling regardless of McCarthy, it's going to come here. When it does, folks, we're not going to go out in the street and protest. We're not going to go out there and fall into their plan. Like I said before, I've been out there. I've seen them watching us. We're not going to go out and protesting. We're going to stay home. We're going to fire up our computers, and we're going to go to work. And you guys know exactly what I mean by that. You guys know exactly what I mean by that. If you need to lure some of them in, go ahead and lure. Take some pictures. Take some pictures of them. I already went through this already. We're not going to go protest on the street. We're not going to go march down to City Hall and demand this and that. We're not. Bad idea. They're heroes. One hero shot 2 people. The other hero the other bunch of heroes beat up a bunch of cops singing the national anthem and then stormed into the government office. Those are the heroes of the right wing, folks. You want to beat them? Don't meet them on the street. And that's coming from me. Play it smart. Always play it smart. You play it smart, they're done. They're done. Crying Kyle pretty much gave the right wing full permission to shoot at BLM, to shoot at Antifa. Straight up. That's why I'm saying this. Do not go out and protest any of this shit after Trump wins. Because they will shoot you. They will box you. They will shoot you. They will yell at you.
Thank you, Shankar. Let's do talking points. For talking points this week, let's look at another of our frequently asked questions that goes, shouldn't we fix California first before trying to be our own country? The obvious answer is yes, but California isn't all rainbows and unicorns. In fact, yeah, we have some serious problems that need to be addressed here, and wildfires, drought, and homelessness get most of the headlines. Housing shortages and the rising prices make it harder to live here, which has caused a lot of Californians with lower paying jobs choices to look for work and try to build a life in the lesser states of America. And it is estimated that as many as maybe 100,000 people live on the streets of California. Drought affects California's extensive agricultural businesses, who sum it all up with slogans like crops don't grow where water don't flow, to illustrate their frustration with water shortages and rationing. This drought, as it continues, has caused some places to look to desalinization, but that is an expensive solution and does little good in the inland parts of our nation state. And California's wildfires have devoured whole towns, leaving our fellow Californians, our friends, and our family to sometimes suffer the loss of everything. So yeah, shouldn't we fix California first before we try to be our own country? In a perfect world? Yeah, sure. But how do we fix California if fixing California means we have to fix the whole damn USA first? Most of California's woodland that is prone to fire is federal land and supposed to be managed by the federal government, but the National Forest Service has been historically undermanned and underfunded. Our droughts can be scientifically linked to the climate change brought on by America's fossil fuel industry. But even though the U.S. has known about the dangers of climate change for years, the federal government has denied the crisis until the virtual point of no return. And they're still kicking around ways that they can weasel out on an actual solution. And a major portion of California's homeless issue can be attributed to a combination of American banks and Wall Street lobbying for the deregulating of housing speculation that created the modern real estate bubble economy, and America's absolute refusal to embrace the need for national mental health coverage that would come with any form of universal health care. So Californians suffer while we try to solve this fish or cut bait problem. Because if we could fix California as part of the United States, it could already be done, and we wouldn't need a California independence movement in the first place. And maybe that's the real truth hiding in this question. Because really, has the USA fixed anything you can remember in the last 30 years? And if not, can we actually fix California without leaving the USA? Talking point. Shouldn't we fix California first before trying to be our own country? Absolutely. We should fix California and then declare ourselves the world's first perfect country, right? Then we could be just like all the other perfect countries out there, right? Whichever those ones are. Are there perfect countries? Or is fixing California before we become our own country a relative term? The truth is, we should all be working to make California as good a nation as we can make it, regardless. And then at some point, an independent California Republic will be a better place to be than the America we're leaving behind. And at that point, why would we not move to independence whether or not California is completely fixed or not? But until then, and beyond, the work goes on. Because coincidentally, that should be the focus of the California independence movement too. Working with other organizations here in California with similar California values. You've heard the conversation about California values, haven't you? Lobbying and legal action here in California of our current California representatives must also be part of independent California's efforts to create that better future. This is Talking Points. Well, I think that's enough for this week. Check out our website, www.redstarreport.com. Transcripts of this podcast will be posted there. Also, be sure to subscribe to our Red Star Report YouTube channel. Go find our Red Star Report Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, etc., 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 etc. Because if you want a real California independence movement media group, that's us, by the way. It's all about the algorithms. Our thanks to you and all our Red Star Rebels for watching. Have a great week. We are Red Star Report.